This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
So Zach, I got another question for you, and then obviously we'll get your pick here. I'm going to go ahead and roll this. And then So now that you've got us all panicked on what we should be concerned about, Zach, what is your least worries heading into week 1 against Miami? Not necessarily the season, because I think, things are going to change and evolve, and there's obviously so many moving pieces that could, may not be a concern that can turn into a concern. But week 1, what is your least concern that you feel the most confident about? It's like, I'm not even going to blink when thinking about that.
Yeah, instead of just saying Graham Mertz, because that's an easy answer, I'll say the passing game in general. I just think between him at the helm, the receivers that have stepped up this offseason because of the transfers that came in, and guys kind of really, deciding that they're not going to get passed up on the depth chart by some of these newcomers. And that's not to say DK and Badger aren't going to make an impact, but they got a whole host of receivers that are probably going to play and make an impact and have production. So, and then you throw in Boardingham as well at tight end, and maybe even you get a little bit more from Hayden Hansen in the passing game. Like, I just feel like there's going to be no issues there. And that's even with losing Ricky Pearsall, your leading receiver from a year ago. But that wide receiver room is in a really good place. And obviously the quarterback room is in a really good place. And if Boardingham can play as well as he does on NCAA 25, Florida's going to be cooking. And then defensively, man, Dave just said it, but like that F spot, man, like that's a good position, man. Like I know the defensive line has to get better, but you got to think out of one of those 4 guys, one of them is going to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. So it would probably be either the upgrades that have happened at F because of Boone being back, and then LJ McCray and Cam James playing there with Sapp. I don't know who's going to start. And then it'd be between that and safety. But I just have zero concerns about either of those positions because they're stacked, and they've added guys to both of those spots that have upgraded them as well.
Look, I think that's something to speak about. Again, I know we get labeled as the Sunshine Pumpers, and I'm going to kind of check myself later on because I think it's healthy to do those things. But those 2 positions, the F spot and the safety, were 2. I mean, look, Princely was there, but I don't feel like he did what we all anticipated him to do. And that safety we talked about on the last show. We do have college football this Saturday. And, of course, use the link in the description. You guys check out BetUS. And I'm going to go ahead and run my first little parlay for the year. You guys know I'm a parlay slut. I love them. They're my absolute faves. So we're going to click on the NFL here, or football, go to college football. And the 2 games they've got are Florida State and Georgia Tech. So I'm going to start off hot and heavy. Y'all know where I'm headed. I'm taking G-Tech money line. They've got the best quarterback east of the Mississippi for week 0, boys. I'm just telling you, from what I'm hearing. And SMU going to be that sleeper pick headed into for that FSU as well, too. So I love seeing that and how that's going to play out there. Let me go ahead and zoom this in so you guys can see everything. So we'll see how that plays out. And then click parlay. And we'll throw 25.
We're going to take the 401k. Yeah, 25.
25. All right, we're going to throw 25. Pays out 184, boys. So, again, when you use the link in the description for BetUS, for your first 3 deposits, you get back 125% of your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. Yeah. Incredible offer they're going to be offering throughout the season. There will be other offers that happen as well, too. Right now, that is the offer. When you use that link in the description, placing my bet. Next week's going to be fun. We're going to have a hell of a blast rocking parlays, doing pick'ems. We'll have to probably we have our pick'ems, Dave and I, that we'll have next week, which will be a blast.
Princely was at Jack. So last year, all they had at the F was Tyreek Sapp.
That's true. That was it. Kelby played there a little bit too, right?
Yes. Kelby played. Yes, you're right. Kelby played that. You had Kelby. You had Tyreek Sapp, and who was the other guy? Cam James. So
yeah, that's right.
You really only had a 3.
Cam and Kelby moved in.
And Cam James didn't really play. Now he's going to play at that F spot, and now Kelby has moved to end slash. I don't think he's playing nose, but he's going to play some inside. But like LJ McCray changes the whole dynamic of that position, and then Justice Boone being back also does. So you got like 2 1A 1B starters, I think, but LJ McCray and Justice Boone LJ McCray and Cameron James are probably better or have more upside than Boone and Sapp. So it was just
long-term
that's a
wise.
really, really good. Yes.
And that's not a shot towards those guys. Just again, just to where they're at currently and what they could go to. So that position again with Sapp, and Sapp was kind of coming into that role throughout the year. And then safety, we talked about on our show when you were on about a week ago, where it was abysmal. With Castell was fantastic, but was very young and lost at times, and especially with around him. And now you're telling us, hey, those were at least 2 concern spots. And we've already talked about what we're excited about everywhere else, right? So there's some, again, these are, just kind of things to be excited about. Again, still got to play the game. I get all that, but love hearing that. Swalder, what do you got from me, guy?
Yeah, I also think I agree with everything that Zach said. That would have been my position to pick too, is that safety spot. And I think everything is you talk about like not knowing where to be, all that kind of stuff. I think the addition to Ron Roberts over there in the defense, kind of helping out there, Austin Armstrong can get those guys, is probably got those guys better prepared to see what position should you be in and all of that. And you just have more depth right now where you can move everybody around to like some of the natural positions that they're good at. I think that's what really a collaborative as a defense can really increase the numbers of production there. And I think this year, especially now, I know they've concentrated more on getting turnovers and tackling. I know tackling's been a big thing that they've practiced in the scrimmages as well. I think when you have a combination of not a lot of missed tackles, you got guys playing naturally at some of their positions now, you got a lot of depth. I think that's what's really going to increase the productivity on defense. So I'm really more excited about this defense because I think it will be different. I don't know how much different. I don't know if it's going to be, hey, look, we're only allowing 25 points per game as opposed to like 35, or we're only allowing 20 points per game. So, I mean, like there's a big difference in turnover and points per game, all that kind of stuff. And I think, obviously you get more turnovers, you help your offense out. You can score more points. You can put more points on the board as well, or get in good field position. So I think the addition just of the staff and the strength and conditioning and all that, it's going to help. It may not be that big of a help, but it will help, and it'll help produce the productivity there on defense though too. But I am going to pick that safety spot. But along with that, I will pick some of the coaching there as well.
Yeah, I think for me, I gotta think there's the coaching on defense. I think with the addition of Ron Roberts and I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, Chapman. I was thinking about this earlier today, when obviously with Harris coming on all the time, talking about just the lack of energy last year, him being there for the Tennessee game, hearing the consistency of Chapman, whether it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday at 6 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., the one consistent was Chapman was always yelling and screaming. And I love a guy that can be fired up Monday through Friday, 2 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m. Doesn't really matter what time it is. I'm dialed in. Leading me to believe that, like, look, he's created this, that's a consistency that's going to be in these guys. And now, look, when you're in the swamp, I mean, if you need a Chapman to fire you up, this ain't the place for you. So you've got this natural, organic hype that's been instilled in you. And again, these are small things, right? These are things that I like. These are things that I focus on. It's just the little nuances of these guys when you hear about the camp. That is what I'm least concerned about, which was, in my opinion, a big concern last year. The lack of just energy throughout the game. It would seem to die down. It seemed that was always a big thing. I remember we going to Kentucky, going to Mizzou. I'm texting Sorley, how does the team look? How's the energy on the sideline? Because that started to become a point of conversation. Like, guys came out flat on our foot. We weren't really there. I'm like, what do you mean we weren't there? we practiced our whole lives for this, and we're not fired up. I think in this first game, given just all of what it encompasses, seems weird, but it's my least concern, which was in a weird way a concern last year.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.